Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
So there we were last week. It's like, so there I was lying on a train track. There we were last week talking about this particular situation where the brother was, his wife was at the having an affair with the brother. And he was wondering, should I tell me brother I'm at the giving it to his wife? And, get rid of his guilty conscience. In the middle of that, we get a text. I'll read it out again. My brother's partner, and it took me a while, by the way, to get my head around this, right? But I understood it now. I understand it. My brother's partner is slutting around with someone in her job. He is aware of it, but she doesn't know that. She comes home, pretends everything is normal. She even climbs into bed with him and snuggles up. It's killing him not to confront her. But there's kids involved, and he doesn't want to turn their lives upside down. Firstly, I don't know how he can act normal. Unless he just doesn't love her anymore. Probably doesn't actually after knowing all that. How can he act normal knowing his other half is doing what she's doing? So there's a few aspects to this. I understand why he's saying he doesn't want to turn their lives upside down. Because I'll share something with you personal. When my marriage broke down a long, long time ago, my kids were a bit younger, obviously. Now, they weren't thankfully that young. They were teenagers. But it wasn't the losing the wife part. It was the family unit. It was disrupting the family unit. Everything that you had dreamt of, owning your own home and having your grandkids come and visit and all that kind of... It was all of that stuff. It was that destroying all that in one fell swoop by announcing something or by breaking up the marriage or by saying, listen, that's it, we're going to have to get a separation or a divorce or whatever it is. It's just the end of everything that you know. And for him, he could be thinking to himself, if I say this to her, that's the end of the marriage. I've got young kids. Most likely I'm going to be kicked out of the house, even though I've done nothing wrong. That's what happens. He's a man. If you have a penis, you're leaving. So, and that's what happens in family law. 9 times out of 10, the woman will be left in the family home to raise the children and the man will be kicked out. Even if he's done nothing wrong, he'll be kicked out. He'll be the one looking for somewhere to live. Could end up homeless. Could end up on the streets. Could end up sleeping in the back of his car. Could end up whatever. In a hotel overnight. If you can find a bloody hotel in Ireland. B&B. Whatever. I don't know. Because he won't be able to afford somewhere else. And continue to provide for the children and all that. And then he has to get access to the kids if they're young. And he's could be thinking all that in his head. And it's just better to let sleeping dogs lie. Whereas his brother, who wrote the message into us, is thinking, maybe I should say it to her. Say, listen, your husband knows what you're up to. Because it's killing him that his brother is a walkover. And that's essentially what he's saying. My brother's a walkover here. She's making a knob of him. And that's killing him. So I don't know what you would do in that situation. It's very tough for the brother to, as a bystander in this situation. Get in touch. Let us know what you think, by the way. And don't forget, by the way, if you ever want to share a dilemma, you can text us just like that person did. Message us in a WhatsApp, should I say. Nobody texts anymore. WhatsApp. Or indeed, if you want to send an email, you can send it directly to AJ, our producer, aj.walsh@classichits.ie. And AJ will have a good glance over it and make sure we get to do it on the air. But let me get to Niamh first if I can. The number, by the way, is 087 188 0008. If you have any thoughts, you can WhatsApp them in now. What should he do? Niamh!
Hi,
This is a mess. This is like Coronation Street.
It's worse. It's worse. Do you know it's worse because it's real. God love him.
Yeah. Could you imagine being in that situation?
No, and I think, do you know what? First of all, I think sometimes we do an awful disservice to men because men love their children just as much as we do. And it must be horrific. I can't understand how it would feel to go from tucking your children every night, giving them their breakfast, reading them a story, bringing them to school, to literally maybe 1 or 2 days a week. I mean, that's devastating for a start. So I don't think he's a walkover. I think he just loves his kids. He probably told his brother in confidence, so let's not add another betrayal. Don't betray your brother. Just don't do it. He needs you now. So shut up, put up, and do... This won't last. The brother is going to crack eventually. He won't be able to keep this up. Especially getting into bed beside him. Jesus.
Yeah.
He will not be able to keep this up indefinitely. It's going to kill him. So when it comes out,
unless
he's
at
going
this
to meet
stage
his brother.
but at this stage maybe he just doesn't love her anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get the impression the brother would have said that, but the brother wouldn't have written in because you can't make a knob out of somebody that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You can only make an idiot out of somebody that cares. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do get the impression that perhaps the brother's been crying on his brother's shoulder. You know, I'm devastated. How could she do this? Da 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 da. And the brother, I know the brother means well, but he's going to betray him again, and he's already been betrayed in the worst way possible by his wife. Don't do it as his brother. Go.
Well, why not?
at
Why
his
not
pace
just?
now.
Why not just talk to him and say, "Look, tell her you know what's the worst that can happen." The
I'm sure
worst.
he has said that a million times.
The worst that can happen is she says, "I'm sorry," right? Well, or maybe she won't. Maybe she'll say, "Look, I'm done with you." I don't know. Maybe, but she'll probably apologise and pretend she's going to stop doing it. You know what I mean?
Probably, but she mightn't. So he doesn't know, and I think his first thoughts. It just, for some reason, I'm just getting the idea that he's doing this because he wants to be with his children, more so maybe than he wants to be with her.
Yeah.
And perhaps when the children are in secondary school, he might say, "Okay, now you guys can cope with it." But right now, he just does not want to be the dad that, unfortunately, because of how things are, ends up only seeing the kids a couple of times a week and has to fight for those couple of times a week. And she could turn into the bitch from hell and make it really difficult for him, or say nasty things about him to the kids or whatever, especially if it comes out that she has an affair, because then she'll go down fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an awful lot at risk here. And I know the brother means well, but I think right now, be led by what your brother wants and don't add to his problems, because he's got bloody enough going on in his head, without thinking now you stepped in and now she's really pissed off. Not only is she pissed off that I know, but she's really pissed off that you know. You know, imagine her reaction if the brother went to her. She wouldn't take that well.
And
So
do
I
you
just
think
just for now.
if he said something to her and she said, "Listen, I'll never do it again," do you believe that people can change? Well, because obviously I get the impression that even if he did confront her about it, he would give her a second chance. I get that impression.
He
obviously.
probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would for the kids. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably would.
Yeah.
Would she change? Probably not, because, as you said last week on a similar topic, women cheat for different reasons. You know, so she could be emotionally invested in this affair.
Yeah.
And she could be thinking, we don't know who she's having the affair with. He could be married as well. But she could be thinking, "Oh, he's told me that I only have to wait a couple more months and we'll ride off into the sunset with the kids."
Yeah.
So she could be very heavily invested in this. We just
Now,
don't know.
mind you,
It might-
when she said my brother's partner is slutting around with someone in work, we'd no explanation as to what slutting around means. You know, that
No,
could
the
be.
he's just angry. He's just angry. He's just...
Well, no.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is she having a full blown affair? Is she just flirting with somebody? Is she doing a bit?
Could be anything.
Is she just being inappropriate? I don't know what that means.
I just don't think somebody would go to the effort of writing in about a bit of flirting.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it. I think it's probably overstepped, gone into the physical. So the husband obviously, I don't know how the husband found out, but he obviously did and told the brother. Maybe it's only the two of them that know. So if the wife finds out, the brother's going to know exactly where it came from, and it could end up putting a real problem in their relationship. Because the brother's going to be all over the place. So he's going to be looking for somebody to blame, and he could shoot the messenger. So he needs to just tread carefully on this.
Yeah, it is similar to what we talked about
Right.
on Thursday night with the two brothers, because they could end up in a family feud over the whole thing. But stay there, because I want to go to Bernie as well. Bernie, hi, how are you?
Hi, this is such a confusing thing.
Well, it's unusual. I've never heard of a situation where somebody is having an affair, the other half knows and is not going to say anything to avoid the family breaking up. Bizarre.
I find that really strange, because I mean, at the core of it, you're in you know, if you're a partner, you take each other, you know, for who you are, and if it's not working out or there's a problem, wouldn't you like to know? Like, why is she doing it? Is there a backstory to her reason for doing it?
Well, sex maybe. I don't know.
You know, is the relationship, and this is her cry for help, that she needs him to find out, that she needs him to walk up and say, "I know what you're doing. What is going on?" Like, you can't live a lie. it comes out in the end, as we know, Niall, it always does. And I would rather find out now as the partner and say it to her and open up that wound.
But he does
Because
know.
at the end
But
of the day-
he doesn't want to open up the wound because he's afraid to. And I understand exactly, I'm reading between the lines here. It says she climbs into bed and snuggles up. It's killing him not to confront her, but there's kids involved and he doesn't want to turn their lives upside down. So he's obviously thinking, as a man here, maybe the kids are young, maybe there's 2 or 3 kids. If I say anything and this girl goes tits up and I lose this relationship, I'm out of the house. I'm going to be in court looking for access to the children, paying maintenance, all that kind of stuff, homeless. So he's thinking to himself, which is the lesser of the 2 evils? Just
And why can't
pretend there's
she-
nothing wrong.
Well, why isn't she kicked out?
Because that's not the way family law works in this country. That's just...
But she's the one having the affair. It's not
Oh,
him.
tell me about it. That's not the way it works. That's not the way family law works in Ireland.
But I'm just trying to see, I'm being the devil's advocate, I suppose. Why don't you sit down and confront her and say it? And say, I know what you're having. You can't live a lie now. It breaks out. It kills you in the end. So...
Oh, it's torture, I
Yeah,
imagine, for him. Torture. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're getting into snuggle up to somebody who you know is having an affair, seriously, you can't. You couldn't live with yourself if you don't do something about it.
It blows my
can't
mind.
pretend.
It blows my mind how people can do this, and people do it all the time, of course, because they don't get caught. That she can come home and pretend there's nothing wrong and just jump into bed with him, as well as being jumping into bed with the person in the office, and act like it just goes to show you how clever some people are at deception.
But then you have to look at what's going on in their own relationship that she is doing this. Is there a problem?
Sometimes there's just no reason. Some people are just never happy and they always think the grass is greener on the other side. And it happens to people usually between 40 and 50 years of age. Probably, I don't know, I'm kind of guessing here, midlife crisis, whatever. And they think that something is always better around the corner and don't realise how good they actually have it and how valuable the person that they love actually is. But then they think to themselves, and look, the research clearly shows men do it for sexual purposes. Men are stupid. Men just do it because their penis wants them to do it, right? Whereas women do it for attention. So women do it, to get affirmation, to be told they look beautiful, to be told, how much people care about them, etc. So women do things for different reasons to men. So maybe this guy is giving her, and the husband could be telling her she's beautiful 9 times every single day, right? But that doesn't matter to her. She wants somebody else to tell her. Do you understand? And that can be what it's about as well. You know what I mean? You just don't know.
But it's rather, you're living a lie then.
Oh, of course you are. Yeah.
The kids are going to discover it. The kids are going to know that daddy is not happy. They're going to see that their mother is dressing up maybe extra nice going to work. They're not stupid. Kids today are very alert and they will pick it up. Mm-hmm. They will see it. I mean, he can't. How long is he going to continue with this? Should the brother text her and say, I want to meet you. I know what's going on. I want you to do something. Does he take that risk?
Well, I think the brother... I think he knows that the brother knows, if you know what I mean. It's very complicated. I think the brother is aware, and he's aware that he's obviously shared it with his brother. That's how the brother knows. He's obviously said, listen, my wife is having an affair, but look, let's not rock the boat. I don't want to say that. There's no point.
Would the brother not go to her and text her and say, I need to meet you. I want to know, is this true or false? And not say that it was her partner that raised it. Say that somebody in the office said that they thought there was something going on, and he clarified it.
Was that, Niamh? That's not a bad idea.
It's not. It's not a bad idea at all. But the only thing that would worry me about doing that is that we're not involved, so we can talk about this very rationally and unemotionally. But he is, and his emotions are obviously all over the place. And what would worry me would be that if the brother did do that, and obviously the only person that could have told him was his other brother, the guy that is being cheated on. And when
not necessarily. He could come up with some cock and bull story that somebody he knows who knows somebody knows your man or something.
Yeah, but the brother would know. The brother would know deep down. He'd know. He'd probably just know. And then what would worry me would be that through all the trauma that this is going to create, they would have a damage. They damage.
Say, I told you not to say it to her. I told you not to say it to her.
And you know what? Messengers always get shot. It's always the messenger because the person knows they can't really hit out at the actual person who's in the wrong, because they're trying to maybe placate them to keep their kids. So he takes it out on his brother. So there's so many sides to this. But I wonder, has she not noticed? I mean, surely their sex life has gone down. I mean, I don't know how he could even raise a smile with her, knowing what he knows. And she can't be that interested if she's having an affair.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how interested she probably could be. I mean, people in those situations are amazing actors. You would never, like, some people are really good at pulling off deception. You know what I mean?
But also,
you'd wonder how he can, though.
They might even make an extra effort, if you know what I mean, to hide the deception. So whereas they mightn't have been having sex too much before, and they'll be having extra sex. To go, I better sleep with him tonight just in case he's, Sorry, Bernie.
He's taking Viagra on the quiet.
But then he's got, like, every time, like, say she did, right? So she's making an extra effort. Like, this poor guy has these images in his head. Is she thinking of your man? Like, I don't know how he can do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
If they can, and surely she can notice the change in him. Like, he'd have to be an Oscar winner to be able to keep up this pretense that everything's fine.
Yeah.
She must have noticed something, or she's just too selfish to give a shit. I don't know.
Yeah, we see, this is it. We don't. It's a very strange setup.
Hang on. Let me just get another voice in here. Helen, hi. How are you?
Hello, Niall. How are you?
Good, Helen. I mean, this is it's not complicated. It's quite simple, actually, to understand, but it's a mad situation.
It is. I've been listening there now for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
13 minutes and 40 seconds, to be exact. Sorry, go on.
No, I'll tell you, the husband knows about it, does he? He does.
He does, yeah.
Right?
He knows his wife is having an affair, yeah.
And the brother knows about it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, and the brother doesn't want to do anything at all about it, right?
Nor does the husband.
The husband doesn't want to do anything about it. Right?
No.
Maybe maybe this is an arrangement between them. You know, that maybe he knows she's having the affair, but maybe that's the way he wants it. Do you know?
Who'd want that, Helen? Who'd want that situation?
Well, I mean,
maybe he doesn't love her anymore, is what you're saying. Maybe he doesn't care.
Well, probably not.
Like an open relationship.
Yeah, that he just
probably
doesn't. Yeah.
Did they mention that in any of the text?
No, I'd say they would have mentioned that. They would have mentioned an open relationship, because that's okay.
No, because he
both have permission.
He does say, Helen, that when he's talking about his brother, it's killing him not to confront her. But there's kids involved, so he doesn't want to turn the lives upside down. So the only reason he's not saying anything to her is because he doesn't want to break up the family.
Yeah, we have no proof like that she's actually going into bed with somebody else. They might be just flirting around like he said.
Yeah,
you know?
Possibly.
Maybe it's just flirting. Maybe she enjoys flirting. Maybe it keeps her young to be flirting.
Sounds like it's a bit more. Let me just read the text, because it's not long. Let me just read it again. My brother's partner is slutting around with someone in her job. Slutting sounds like a bit more than flirting, mind you, but however.
What does slutting mean?
Slutting probably means.
Yes,
sex.
Well, I mean,
probably, I imagine.
Does it really?
Does it? Well, okay. But look, anyway, I think the rest of it really says it. He says he's aware of it, but doesn't know that. But she doesn't know that. She comes home, pretends everything is normal. She even climbs into bed and snuggles up with him. It's killing him not to confront her. But there's kids involved, and he doesn't want to turn their lives upside down. So I get the impression he believes she's probably sleeping with somebody else. Yeah.
Well, I can understand how he feels, really. You know.
Yeah.
Because the trust is gone completely anyway, regardless of whether she comes home and cuddles him or he cuddles her. The trust is gone. The fact that he knows, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, he obviously loves her. He doesn't want to rock the boat. He wants her coming home, cuddling him, and he wants her there for the kids. It's
a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit. There's very few people could do that.
Very few. Well, there's a lot of people like that can do it, but they can only do it for so long.
Yeah,
and then and then once the trust is gone, it's gone. because you're looking over your shoulder all the time. If you're out with that partner, like the man or woman, the whole time. You're totally paranoid. It doesn't work out, and then the tension starts.
By the way, do you believe that somebody can ever change? You know, like, let's just say he did confront her and she apologised and said, yeah, I admitted I was sleeping with John out of the office in accounts. And I promise I won't do it again. That's it now. I'm so sorry. Do you believe people can change? Or is that the end of the relationship as far as you're concerned? I mean, is the trust just gone?
The trust is gone now. And you could dress it up whatever way you want, like, but once that trust is gone, like, you know, it's gone, I think. That's my opinion. You know, she could say she's sorry 1,000 times. But you could say, okay, but it's still niggling in the back of your mind. You know, if he goes out or if she goes out, I wonder what are they up to. It's only natural. Like, the trust is broken. That can't be replaced. You know.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me just say, Luke, stay with me for a second. I know I've kept you ages, but I do have to take a quick break, and I'm going to come straight to you after the break, Luke. I do apologise. Niamh and Bernie, stay with me there. Thank you, Helen. Let me just go to a quick break. There we go. All right, let me go to Luke if I can. Luke, hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you now? Thanks for having me.
Good, Luke. Luke, it's a kind of, well, it's a simple enough story, but it is complicated in a way, isn't it? Life is complicated.
Sorry, could you read out the text again, Niall? There, what was it? He knows about it.
Okay, yeah. So my brother's partner is slutting around with someone in her job. He's aware of it, but she doesn't know that. She comes home, pretends everything is normal. She even climbs into bed and snuggles up with him. It's killing him not to confront her, but there's kids involved, and he doesn't want to turn their lives upside down. So his wife is having an affair, and he knows she's having an affair. Essentially, is what he's kind of saying, but he doesn't want to say anything to her because he's thinking, kids, I'll end up getting kicked out of the house. We'll end up going through a separation and divorce. You know, I want nowhere to live. I'll have to look for access to the children. So he's thinking the bigger picture. So I'm better off just not saying anything.
Yes, I get you. Yeah.
Sad, isn't it?
It is, yeah. If it was me in that position there, and that was my wife, straight away, I'd be confronting straight away. I'd be here. I'd be like, here, what's the story? I know what you're at. And, you know, I know that, like, some people will be like, well, the collateral damage would happen after, like, but that's just the way I'd react, like, you know, it's the way.
But is it easier to say nothing? Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It'd be very hard to bite your tongue, but it'd be easier kind of to say nothing, isn't it? Sometimes in those situations.
In those situations, and then the way she can just come back there, get in beside him into bed there, snuggle up. That just sounds like that woman is cold.
Oh,
you know
psycho. I mean? Psycho.
Yeah, just very, very empty inside. Like, the way she can just, like, spawn back in as if nothing happened. And he knows, like, he'd be going to work in the morning. Like, he gets up in the morning, goes to work. He's thinking of that.
Dying inside. Yeah, dying inside. I wonder who she was with. Was she out with him last night? I wonder was she with him in work today? Or, dying.
Yeah, I get, yeah. And, like, he'd be like, when you think about it, he's driving to work in his van, whatever he does, every day that's going through his head, but he hasn't said anything yet. And then, no, I don't know.
Think he's going to blow his top someday?
That's the thing, like there's a lot of things that goes through. Lots of things go through lads' heads, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can't really say much about it. And he's kind of in that situation there now. But I don't really know the full situation. Like,
but you'd never be in that situation, as far as you're concerned. You wouldn't put up with that.
I'd say, I know, honestly, yeah, but there's kids involved. I know the way he's saying, like, there's kids involved. You know, he
doesn't want to turn their lives upside down.
He's kind of cornered in a way, but, like,
he is.
It depends who we are as a person as well. But I know if it was me myself, instantly I'd be like, here, what's the story? And then I'd be like, who is it? You know, like, I'd say a lot of lads are listening to this now, and they're like, yeah, I do the exact same. That's what a lot of lads be saying now. But yeah, that's
here's the thing: his brother who wrote the email, he's the one who told us about it. He knows what's going on. Should he get involved? Should he turn around to the missus and say, "Listen, just letting you know, your husband knows you're having an affair. You dirtbag."
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Maybe. I think he should just go to his brother and say, "You're like, look, man, it's like this.
Man up."
You have to. You'll have to say it to her, like, because it's just going to keep going on. And, like, that woman, like, I'd say if she's done it, like, if she's doing it that easily, and she comes home, snuggles in beside him, as I said, cold, maybe it's not the first time she's done it either.
Yeah, it's probably, somebody said that the other night, it's not our first rodeo. No, I mean...
And Kane, to be honest, I don't think she'd change. Would she?
I don't think... My mother used to always say leopards never change their spots.
Yeah, I heard of that one as well. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Bernie, do leopards change their spots?
Not usually, but, we don't know the full story here. Is it been unhappy for a while? Which one, why did she go this way? Why did she always been like this and he's always known about it? But that now it's really getting him because the kids are getting older. I mean, I feel that the brother is caught in a position, but at the same time, somebody has to say something. And if the brother has to pretend and text her and say, I know what you're doing, it's my brother. Would I do it for my brother? I probably would, yeah. I'd text the person. Oh. Or my sister. I'd go, if my sister's husband was having an affair, I couldn't stand by and watch her thinking everything's hunky-dory and know that he's slutting around, before he comes home from work. I would actually go to him and say, I know, it's my sister that's here. I'm telling you now, I'm going to tell her if you don't do something.
Niamh, I don't think you have a sister, Niamh, sure you don't?
Yeah, no, I do too.
Oh, do you? Oh, you sound like an only child. Anyway, so yes. I don't know if that's meant to be an insult or what. To be honest with you,
spoiled and entitled.
No, there can only be one Niamh. But Niamh,
well, that's it.
If that was
the youngest,
if your sister's husband was having an affair and she knew about it and was in this situation, wasn't doing that, and she said, "Oh, look, there's no point in saying that to him. Look, he brings home a good wage every week. I don't want to rock the boat. He's paying the mortgage. Life would be miserable if I get rid of him. So, look, I'll just leave as is. I'll say nothing." Would you have to say something? Would you be able to hold your peace?
Funnily enough, I was in that exact situation with my sister years ago. Oh. And it was really tough because I knew that she desperately did not want him to know. For a number of reasons. And she had, and still does, major health issues. And she just panicked about being alone. It was she just went into complete and utter denial and panic. Eventually,
so she just belittled herself and let him have an affair without saying anything?
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't just, he wasn't the sort that would just have an affair. He was just sleeping around.
Yeah, Romeo.
In a tinfoil suit, he was just rotten. But anyway, he eventually she just couldn't hold it in anymore, and it did come out. And of course, he left. But you know what? She's a bloody strong person, and she's better off now, and she knows it now. But she was
change can be difficult. See, change can be difficult for people, in those situations when
she just went into denial, and I wonder that's why maybe I was being a bit easygoing when I was given the advice, because I wonder, is that where he is right now? And it's a little bit like grief. You have to get out of denial, go through anger, and then get to acceptance. And acceptance is when you kick them out.
Yeah, I mean, Martin texted in, he said your correspondent, i.e. the person who sent in the message, should not get involved. The husband should not allow himself to be a cuckolded husband. I'm sure we do know that. Yeah, even if it means just calling her out on her behaviour and telling her, okay, if that is what you want, then stop being a hypocrite. Let's start making plans for a future apart, where we both have rights and relationships with our children. If he doesn't do this, his resentment will turn into absolute hatred for his wife, and that will not be good for her children or for his children. I'm up for a chat on this if I get the opportunity.
Correct, yeah.
I understand what the Martin is saying. Eventually, I'm sure there's already resentment there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. The woman has no respect. I mean, not only is she cheating on him, but to come home and even have the nerve to get into the same room as him, let alone the same bed.
But that's what people do when they're having it. But that's what people do when they're having affairs. They become masters of deception, don't they?
How?
I
just don't know how you could profess to ever have loved a person and treat them that way.
Sorry, Luke. Go ahead, Luke.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry for cutting in there. But they become incredible actors. The way she can just act, she comes in the door, acts like that, no problem at all. As I said, empty. That's That's what I'm
Cold.
Is that
Yeah.
a narcissist or somebody? What, isn't there a strange name to people like that? It's a narcissist or a...
It's very
I think-
narcissistic, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's narcissistic. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just
think
putting
that's-
her own wants and needs ahead of everybody else, to hell with the consequences.
and
She doesn't care.
And then you'd nearly think if the husband did confront her about it, she'd probably flip it, and then you never know.
Same with
She
his
probably
fault.
could. Maybe, but we don't know. At the same time, we don't know. Like, maybe there's something go on. Maybe did the husband do something before? We don't know. Like, either.
And the
but
brother
even though
doesn't know
that
it.
doesn't make it right, it still doesn't make it right. But like, we don't know the full story either, do we?
No,
We're
okay.
only going by text.
Well, hang on a second. Let me just bring Maureen in. Sorry, I nearly got poor AJ to dump Maureen. We haven't even spoken to her. I'm sorry. It's our communication skills, myself and AJ, fail sometimes. I do apologise, Maureen. You must have got it off right when you said, thanks very much, Maureen, for your contribution tonight. And you're sitting there going, I haven't even opened my mouth yet. Maureen, what should they do in this situation?
Well, in this situation, look, I'm going to be quite blunt about it. I've no time for this, right? He should put up his big boy britches and confront her and tell her he knows exactly what's happening. And you'll deal with all the rest of it after. But I tell you, so if it was my brother, if I had a brother or a sister that was in that situation, and I knew, I would be straight down to her, wait for her after work, and I would confront her myself, tell her I know, and tell her she better get her ass home, sort it out, because there's children involved, because you're not doing anybody favours when you're standing up for people who are doing wrong. She's in the wrong. He's in the wrong by allowing it to happen.
Correct.
Because the children, you've got to be parents first and foremost. There's children involved. So it'll have to be sorted out sooner or later.
And how are you going to tell her you found out? And then the brother will know that his brother's has said something. Do you know what I mean? Because he told him in confidence, obviously.
I know, but he has to confront his partner, his wife, whatever she is. He's leaving his brother out of it. I mean, his brother is there for backup. He knows he's got somebody, you know.
Okay. So the husband should be waiting outside her
Yeah.
job. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant the brother. I do apologize.
No. And if it was me and my brother or sister, I would be the one confronting her. And, tell her to get her ass home, cop herself on. And I wouldn't put it up there. I have no time for that, Niall, and I can't understand how people can make excuses for this kind of carry on when there's innocent children involved, and that they're the ones that are going to get hurt, not the adults at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's my advice in it. I'd put up his big boy britches
Correct.
Yeah.
and confront her.
She's been a right
And see what
bitch,
she
isn't
has
she,
to
in
say.
fairness?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
she's horrible. She sounds horrible.
Yeah. I mean,
as you say,
imagine, dude. I
he-
mean, Martin is right. It is cuckolded. You know, he is being cuckolded. I'm sure
He
people
is,
know that.
and it is, but it is true. These people are very good actors. They can act the part because she's coming home, snuggling up to him, thinking that he doesn't know anything,
Sick,
nothing
isn't it?
is going on, that he's a right idiot, while she goes out and has a little bit of fun on the side.
It's
That's
sick.
how you cover it up, and that's how it is covered up. Until she didn't make a slip.
She must.
But he knows, so she doesn't have to make a slip, you know?
Yeah, sorry, Luke. What are you trying to say there? He must what?
Like, she must have some sort of knowledge, like some sort of thought that he knows, because like obviously I'd say the sex life is gone. I'd say it's completely gone, because like if you know that your wife is
Not
off-
necessarily. She could be making an extra effort to give him more
him?
sex than usual to compensate. Do you know what I mean? Because deceptors are good at what they do. Do you know what I mean?
But then at the same time, if you know your wife is off with some other lad, but you're not saying nothing to her, and she comes back, she gets into bed with you, I don't know. Well, I know I wouldn't perform. I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'd be like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, Neve, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be
There's
able
not
to.
a Viagra in the world for that.
No, you'd
There'd
be
be no
like,
conflict that night.
Oh, there's two words just come into my head there, and I shouldn't say them on
What?
radio. Two words.
Go on,
just
say them.
Sloppy
Say them.
seconds. Sloppy seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That picture's in your head.
I know. Yeah. Nobody
But
wants
you know
that,
the
do
worst,
they?
you know
You know
the
what I mean?
worst part about
your intrusive thoughts would just destroy you.
Yeah, you're thinking somebody else has been in there today.
Yeah.
Sorry. I hate to be so graphic about it, but it's true, isn't it?
But you know what the worst part about this whole thing could be, right? At the end of the day, maybe she genuinely doesn't give a shit that he knows, because she knows that if this all goes tits up, she'll get the house, she'll get the kids, she'll get
the spousal maintenance, she'll get everything.
And then she can maybe move the new guy in.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe this is all her plan.
Oh, yeah.
Keep him sweet, keep him paying the mortgage until we're ready, and then who cares if you know?
But you know what? I get
everything anyway.
But I said at the start, the grass is always greener. But the fairy tale of, oh, sure, I'll get everything. I'll get the house. I'll get all.
Karma will bite her in the arse.
Karma will bite her, but the fairy tale comes to an end. It does.
At the end of the day, hopefully, karma comes for her, and if
because the house will never. I mean, the house will.
She'll let him watch.
Yeah, the house might be hers up until the children are a certain age, but it won't be hers forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but you know what? I'm sure somebody like her will have found some other gobshite to pay her way by then.
Yeah.
You know, because
some other victim.
Unfortunately, people like that just tend to come out on top. I don't know how, but they do.
With collateral damage, just everything.
But they don't care. That's the problem. They don't care, Luke, about the collateral damage. If she cared, she wouldn't be having an affair with a guy in work.
Yeah, hang on. Let me bring in Eddie. Eddie'll always spice things up here. Eddie, hi. How are you?
How are you, Noel? You well?
Yeah. See, now this come off the back of the other night's show, Eddie, and you were involved.
Yeah.
And somebody sent in this message during that show, which is a kind of twist on the whole story, isn't it?
I have a mate going through similar, and I'm going to explain to you now. And I think I know why this guy hasn't.
Oh, you told me about your mate. It was going back about 5 or 6 weeks ago. This is your mate in England. Yeah.
So I have a mate, right? I don't know if that's the same story. But I have a mate that split up with his partner, right? Okay. Now, no one was cheating. They just fell out of love, can't fucking stand each other. But they had a mortgage, right? And they had 2 young kids, right? So they couldn't stand the sight of each other. So he moved out. He was working 50 hours a week to pay his share of that mortgage, right? So he moved out because he couldn't fucking stand each other. He started renting a room off some woman in a house for 200 quid a week, right? He was working 5 10-hour days. He's now working 6 days a week because he has to pay for this new place plus the other one. He's at his wit's end. He went down to the social and asked for homeless help, right? They wanted the details of the landowner, but she's not registered, so he couldn't get help, right? He's now in a situation where he doesn't see his kids. He literally has a fish finger bed in a small room. He's looking at 4 walls when he gets home, and he says, I'm no better off. I wish I was back in that house, even though I hate her, you know? And I can probably see this guy thinking, fucking hell, he's probably stretched to the max financially with a mortgage like most people are, and he's thinking, if I have to get out of here, I now have to find some other money and somewhere else to live. And it's probably a big worry on his mind, and he's just putting it off and thinking, maybe things will change. Now, he won't, but I can see that being a massive part of his worries, you know? Because my mate's at fucking breaking point. He's now doing 6 days a week, and now he's no better off because he's a good man. He still wants to pay for the home for the kids, but now he's not in the home, and he's thinking, fucking hell, if only we had the upstairs-downstairs relationship, I wouldn't be busting me bollocks trying to fucking put a roof over my head and theirs. And he's not entitled to any help or nothing because that's just the way it is. And this guy's probably thinking, Jesus, if I was to pipe up, I lose the access to my kids, I'm out of the house, I'm still paying for this one, and I have to find somewhere else to live.
Yeah, what bloke who's married doesn't know the end result of a separation and divorce? You know, every bloke knows what happens. Yeah, you're the one who'll get kicked out. Yeah.
And it's possibly weighing on his mind. You know, it's possibly weighing on his mind. Like, I know a couple, right? I was only speaking to a chap yesterday. They're entitled to 1,800 quid HAP. They can't get anywhere. They're down to fucking Ray Cook every bleeding day and sending 30 emails a day, and they're not even getting a reply. And now this guy's going to come into that market and have to find somewhere and have to find money. It's messy. It's a whole shit show. And I think that's part of his reason why he hasn't said anything.
Maureen, there seems to be good reason why he's not saying anything.
There is, Niall, but again, hold on.
Because once the shit show starts, it's all over.
But not all the time the man has to leave, right? Apparently, I'm taking it verbatim that it's all her fault because that's all I know about it. Having said that, what I do with her, or does Why?
Well, the man doesn't have. Well, hang on. Until there's an official separation, a legal separation, where a court order and a judge will ask the man to leave on order. Because once you go into a separation situation, one person will be asked to leave unless there's an agreement that they both
but that's
stay.
what I'm saying. It may not. It's not always the man. She could be asked. But what I do with her,
that's not gonna happen.
I'd have a bag. I'd have a bag.
No, Maureen, you're delusional. If you think
I'm
with
not
young
delusional,
children the judge is going to kick a woman out of the house, they won't. They won't.
Hold on a
Maureen.
second. I'm not delusional. I know of cases where it happened.
Rarely. Well,
I'm not delusional.
The only times, and I can tell you this for fact, in relation to family law, the only times more than likely that a woman will be booted out and a man allowed to stay is if she's considered to be dysfunctional.
No, I've been through family law.
Oh, yeah.
I know, and I know it has happened. The man has been allowed to stay when he did nothing wrong. I'd have a bag packed for her, and I'd say, right, we're going to sort this out now. If you don't want to sit down, talk about it. Why are you doing it? Go now to the fella that told you. The children are staying here. More than likely, she'll head for the door. Simple as that. She's gone now from the house. Mm-hmm. Because that normally happens. If he's really, really not cross, try and hold it in. You know, be nice and calm if you can. But okay, there's your bag. If you don't want to sit down, we'll talk about this. Well, then there's the door, there's your bag. Head for
She won't go. She won't go.
No, hang on.
Yeah, she'll get advice from her mates.
Quite possibly, but that's okay. The thing is that he's got her out.
No, he won't get her. He won't get her out of the house.
No, but he's got her out there and then. So he has at least got her out. He's got some.
But she can come back.
Got space to breathe.
Yeah, she can walk back in again.
But what you're doing is you're causing a divide. That he's got space to breathe, and so has she.
We all know, but that's fine, Maureen. But the end, he's thinking of the end result, and the end result is he'll be on a sofa somewhere.
But it doesn't matter. If the end result is going to be the same, at least he did something, rather than allow himself to be made a complete mug of.
Is that a fair point, Eddie?
Well, look, it's like this now. Two people have to be working to afford a house now. So I'd imagine she's pulling her fair share of the way. So if she leaves the house, right, she now still has to pay her fair share for him to live there with the kids and to find another roof for herself. And I guarantee you that's not financially viable.
No.
So something's going to have to happen. It's going to have to come to a head at some stage, but I wouldn't like to be there when it does.
No.
Yeah, it will. It has to come to a head some way or another.
But I guarantee you that's one of the main reasons going through your man's head. He's just thinking of all the fucking financial things that come with it and all the stress and all the worry. And it's a horrible situation.
Yeah, but how long more is that going to last before stress really gets to him?
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's gonna blow up one day and it'll be over the slightest thing. Be in the kitchen or something and fucking spill something and he'll just blow up.
Yeah.
Neve, could you hold it in if you knew your other half was having an affair?
No. No.
Could I hold it in?
No.
Yeah, Eddie, could you hold it in?
I couldn't either.
Yeah. Could you?
I don't know. But what I will say is I'm quite calm in certain situations, and before I did blow up, I'd be thinking about what the consequences would be, and I'd be thinking, fucking hell, this goes tits up now, where am I going to go? That would definitely go through my head, 100%. And he probably doesn't have anywhere.
That's the horrible part. That's why it was so much easier for me to say no than it is for Eddie to say no. Because I know that because I'm female, unless I was an unfit parent of probably monumental capacity, I'd be given the kids and I'd be given the house. And
that's the way family law works.
The one who's in the wrong.
Yeah, but
so it's so much easier for us to say no.
Yeah, but why should the innocent person be expected to live a life of misery?
That's just family law. They don't care about your life of misery. Remember, Maureen, in family law in Ireland, it's called a no blame system. It doesn't matter who breaks up the marriage, who has the affair. It doesn't matter if she's given it to the whole neighbourhood. It's irrelevant. The judge doesn't care.
Niall, at the end of the day, you will have shown that you have respect for yourself. And that you've actually...
well and good having respect for yourself. But if you're sleeping in the back of your car, or as Eddie's mate is sleeping in, as he called it, a fish finger bedroom and paying out a fortune, sure, that's not well and good having respect for yourself if your life is miserable.
Well, then, where's the point? But where's the point in any of us talking about it then? Let them carry on the way they are then, and let the children find out, and let it be a whole shit show, and let the whole pot explode. Because that's what's going to happen, and then you'll have the family members involved, and then it's going to be a right shit show.
All right, listen, on that note, I have to wrap it up. Listen, Maureen, Niamh, Eddie, Luke, and everybody else who got involved in the conversation. It's a complicated situation, by the way, for the person who texted in. I do apologise if we didn't really get an answer for you. I think most people just said say something. Don't keep it. Don't be holding it in.
Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.